Day 3, discipline. Let me explain something to you. Preparation determines separation. You hear me? Preparation determines separation. Discipline determines preparation. There are many, many people that separate at retirement. 99 out of 100 people depend on the government or family when they retire. That means 1 out of 100 is independent. 1 out of 100 has prepared for retirement. Now, what exactly does that mean? That means that in the peak earning years, when these people, this one person was making the most money they could make, their best earning years, they took some of that money and they put it back for their retirement. Or they invested it in a pension for their retirement. They gave up the Corvette. They gave up buying the new car or taking the vacation or spending the money in order to be able to have that money when they retired and to be independent. They didn't want to be in a wheelchair getting pushed down the aisle when they were 65 years old, dependent on living with somebody else or a family or the government. See, that's what we call the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Those people that get to that age, the number one employer of people 65 and older is Walmart. Something to look forward to. Number 2 is McDonald's. How many people do you think when they're 35 years old can't wait to get to be 65 so they can retire and go to work at Walmart? I'm not trying to be facetious. I'm trying to be factual. You see, if you don't develop the quality of discipline, you're never going to separate yourself. Preparation determines separation. Discipline determines preparation. Think about academics. You think people become separated academically? The A's from the F's? Without a doubt. And it's all based on what? Preparation. When you walk in to take that test on Friday and you have studied 8 hours, you got it. Bring it on. And even if you don't know the first 2 questions, it doesn't bother you because you know you got it. You have spent the time, pain of discipline. You are going to separate yourself from the rest of that class. Now, if you haven't spent the time, you haven't prepared, then you're going to feel the pain of regret. Because you're going to walk in and you're going to say, I don't remember any of this stuff. What about athletics? Do you think preparation determines separation? The most well-prepared athletes, the most well-prepared teams are going to separate themselves from the others. And the longer the game goes on, the more separation there's going to be. And preparation is all determined by discipline. If you discipline yourself, you're not going to have the pain of regret. How many times do you see guys at the end of a season, they didn't make the playoffs, and you see this, they're crying, and their mama say, boy, they're such great competitors. And I want to say, no, they just weren't disciplined. They didn't discipline themselves to do what they had to do to make the playoffs. And they want to cry about it now. I tell you where you see this. I used to speak at a lot of athletic banquets. And when I walked in the door and I looked into the crowd, I could have just as easily pointed to you and said, discipline, discipline, regret, 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 discipline. I could show you the ones that were proud of the discipline, proud of the preparation, and knew they had separated themselves. And just as easily, I could show you the ones that had the pain of regret. Why didn't I work out? Why didn't I? Always. Now, some of them always wanted to blame the coach or weather or something else, but they still had the pain of regret. See, it is the simplest thing that you can imagine. Number one is discipline. Number two is preparation. You discipline yourself to prepare. And then number three is separation. You prepare to separate, whether it be your retirement, sales, academics, athletics, married life. You prepare to separate. And the beginning of preparation is discipline. Discipline yourself to be the best you that you can be.